I think I should leave my boyfriend after all. He does not have anything to offer me. He is only a mechanic. I need a rich man who can give me luxury even if he is old. Hello James, the walls of Jericho has risen again, but this time is between us. Don't get me wrong, you are wonderful, but this is not the rib I was made for.
They say money can't buy love, but Bella was willing to test that theory. Because when hunger is your daily visitor, love starts to sound like a luxury you can't afford. This is the story of a girl who traded her heart for comfort, and discovered that comfort can be the most expensive prison of all. Her name was Bella, and she once swore that poverty would never sit beside her again, not even in church. Bella grew up in a quiet village where dreams often died before sunrise. Her father was a palm wine tapper. Her mother sold roasted corn. But Bella, she wanted more. She wanted to see her face on billboards, to hear people whisper her name with admiration. And that's when she met James, the boy with rough palms and a heart too pure for this world. He wasn't rich. He didn't have a car, not even a decent phone. But every kobo he made from fixing engines found its way into Bella's dreams. He paid her school fees, bought her clothes for interviews, and even borrowed money to send to her mother when illness struck. Every night James would whisper, "Someday I'll make it, and you'll never have to beg again." And Bella believed him. Until the city showed her a faster way to shine. When she got admission to study in Lagos, the city lights began to speak to her in a language James could never understand. A language of soft life. Of rich men with clean shoes and cars that hummed like lullabies. Then came Chief Lucas, an older man who treated her like royalty. He called her queen, sent her flowers, took her on trips. And for the first time, Bella felt what it meant to be seen, not for who she was, but for how beautiful she could look under luxury. She told herself it wasn't betrayal, just survival. Not until survival turned into greed. And love became inconvenience. "James, you're a good man," she said one night over the phone. "But I can't keep living on promises. I need more for myself." And with that, she ended a chapter she would one day give anything to reopen. Years passed. Bella became a woman of class. New accent, new friends, new life. Her wedding to a rich man named Frank was nothing short of a royal affair. White horses, camera flashes, luxury dripping from every corner. But destiny has a wicked sense of humor. On her wedding night, her new husband smiled and said, "Babe, tomorrow you'll meet the man who made me who I am. My mentor, my investor, my everything. You'll love him." The next evening, the mansion gates opened, and in walked James, dressed in a black Italian suit, confidence in his eyes, grace in his steps. The same boy she once called not enough. The air inside that mansion grew thick. For a moment, Bella couldn't breathe. Her fingers trembled as the man she once left for being too poor walked across marble floors she now called home. James looked every inch of success, the calm power in his eyes, the quiet grace in his smile. He wasn't the boy who used to wipe grease from his hands anymore. He was a man. And everything about him said arrival. Frank rushed toward him, laughing proudly. "Bella, you're not ready for this. This is the man who changed my life. My mentor, my business partner, my brother. Meet Mr. James Williams." Her world stopped spinning. James. Mr. Williams. Her James. She tried to speak, but her voice hid somewhere between her heart and her shame. James smiled, not out of joy but out of something deeper. Something almost painful. "Good evening, Mrs. Frank," he said softly. "It's been a while." The words sliced through her soul like a cold blade. Frank laughed again, oblivious. "You two should talk. You must know each other, right?" James chuckled, eyes fixed on her. "Yes," he said slowly. "We've met once upon a dream." Bella forced a smile, but her lips trembled. Her past and her present had just sat down to dinner together, and one of them had no appetite. Dinner was quiet. James spoke about business, investments, partnerships. Frank spoke with excitement, calling him brother after every sentence. But Bella, she just watched. Every word from James's mouth reminded her of promises she once mocked. When he looked at her, she saw no bitterness, only peace. And that peace hurt more than anger ever could. After dinner, Frank received a call and excused himself. It was just the two of them now. The silence in the room felt heavier than any insult Bella had ever received. She whispered, "James, I never meant to hurt you." He smiled faintly. "You didn't hurt me, Bella. You helped me." "Helped you?" she asked, confused. "Yes," he said. "When you left, I learned the difference between love and loyalty. I realized I was building dreams for someone who never planned to live in them with me. That pain became my fuel." Her eyes welled up. "You've changed." He looked at her gently. "No, Bella. I just became the man I promised you I'd be. Only this time I built him for myself." A tear rolled down her cheek. She wanted to apologize, to explain, to undo everything. But how do you say sorry when the person you broke has already healed without you? That night she couldn't sleep. Frank slept peacefully beside her, snoring softly. But Bella sat by the window, staring at the moon. And for the first time in years she felt small, not because she lost James, but because she realized she lost herself long before she lost him. Days later, James transferred his shares in Frank's company and left for another city. No announcement, no goodbye. Bella found out through a news headline. Young CEO expands empire to Dubai. The billionaire mechanic. And beneath the title, a photo of James shaking hands with world investors. The same hands that once fixed her broken sandals. She stared at the photo until her tears blurred the letters. You see, in life not every loss is a tragedy. Sometimes God takes people away from your table, not because they weren't worthy of your company, but because you weren't ready for the feast they were preparing. Weeks turned into months. The glow of Bella's marriage began to fade, like gold jewelry losing its shine under rain. Frank stopped smiling as often. He returned home late, sometimes smelling of strange perfume. At first, Bella pretended not to notice. She told herself, "This is marriage. It's not always sweet." But soon the whispers started. Neighbors talking, friends avoiding her calls, gossip blogs hinting at Frank's secret affairs. One night, as she waited by the window again, the same window she once used to dream of a better life, she saw Frank's car pull in. He stepped out, laughing, with another woman. Her heart heavy as she just stood there, realizing she had finally become what she used to mock, a woman rich in comfort but poor in peace. The next morning, Frank came into the living room wearing his usual charm. "Bella," he said calmly, "I'll be traveling for a few weeks. Don't wait up." She looked at him with weary eyes. "Frank, are you still my husband?" He smirked. "You wanted luxury. This is it. Stop asking for loyalty too." Then he walked out, leaving the scent of betrayal behind him. For days, Bella didn't eat. She scrolled through her old photos, the ones where James smiled at her like she was his whole world. The memories hit harder than hunger ever did. She whispered to herself, "If only I had waited. If only I had believed." Regret is a silent visitor. It doesn't knock. Just sits beside you and stares until you break. One rainy afternoon, she got a call from a charity organization. They were hosting an event for widows and single mothers, sponsored by James Williams Foundation. Her hands trembled. For the first time in years, she wanted to see him, not as the boy she left, but as the man she lost. She dressed simply. No makeup, no jewelry. Just the version of herself she had hidden for too long. When she arrived at the event, she saw him, standing on stage, speaking about hope, perseverance, and how pain can be the birthplace of purpose. Everyone applauded. But when their eyes met across the crowd, silence swallowed the noise. After the program, she approached him slowly. "James," she whispered, "I didn't come to beg. I just came to say, thank you." He looked at her with calm eyes. "For what?" "For showing me that love doesn't always end in marriage. Sometimes it ends in maturity." James smiled faintly. Bella, we all choose our lessons. Some of us learn through love, others through loss. Tears streamed down her face. She wanted to say more, but every word felt small next to the man he had become. As she turned to leave, James called out, "Bella, you stop." He walked closer, handed her a small envelope and said, "There's a scholarship in your name, for village girls who can't afford school. You once dreamed big. Let them dream too." She looked at him, speechless. He smiled gently. "Goodbye, Bella." Then he walked away, disappearing into the rain, just like he once disappeared from her life. That night, Bella sat alone in her mansion again. The same window, the same moonlight. But this time she wasn't crying for a man. She was crying for the version of herself she'd lost chasing shadows. You see, not every heartbreak is a punishment. Some are lessons in disguise, reminders that you can have everything and still lose the only thing that truly mattered. Love built her future. Greed destroyed it.